Hey everybody, how's it going? Let's see, today I'm going to try my first tutorial on how to tie big streamers for steelhead. Sometimes you can catch a brown on these, sometimes salmon. I mainly use them for steelhead. This is just kind of a variation that I've come up with myself. It's done very well. Usually these darker colors work good early winter. This one here, you can see, here's another one, black, purple, dark colors seem to work. Then in the spring, it seems that the olive colors and possibly mixed with a little yellow, those seem to work. But today we're just going to do this one that you see here. It has the crystal flash. There's a rabbit strip in there. This one does not have a trailing hook, but I think I'm going to tie one with the trailing hook just to show you how to do that as well. This one has the, as you can see, the barbell eyes on it, which I seem to like. It's a little heavier, gets it down a little quicker. This one here, if you can see, it has the cone. Whatever you prefer, to be honest. The cones are a little trickier because your material has to be very even just behind the cone. So when you finish it off with your thread, it's not lopsided to one side and it travels nice in the water. Anyway, here we go. Gonna get started. Again, this is my very first time doing this. I'm probably gonna make a lot of mistakes, so bear with me. Everybody that is into fly tying knows that you have to be pretty consistent and pretty, let's say, ready to fail, because you fail a lot. Just stick with it. It's a great hobby. I've grown to love it, and there's nothing better than catching a fish on something you've tied yourself. So here we go. For the main hook, use a Daiichi. It's a 2451. It is a size 2. The dumbbells are, tons of companies make these. I think this is Waspy. Again, if you have any questions to materials or anything like that, you can just drop a note down in the comments, and I would appreciate it also. Again, just want to let you know this is a very beginner fly tying thing, so if I make mistakes, you don't need to point them out. This is the rabbit strip I use. Basically, first thing I tie on, just to kind of give a point of reference. And then we have the different colored marabou. These are Orvis, the purples, the blacks. Let's see, what else? Oh, these go around the collar. Your flash. These come in, oh my God, every color under the sun. So again, whatever you're using, just kind of make sure it's kind of somewhat consistent, front to back. I found that to be most consistent with catching fish. For a trailing hook, I like to use these Fast Strike Power Points. These are a size 10. Sometimes I use a size 8, but this is what I have, so here we go. So start with your hook in the vise, obviously. What I've done first is I've put some thread front to back. This is so the thread, or sorry, the line that your trailer is attached to has something to bite on when you secure that. For this line, I would use at least a 15-pound. I use fluorocarbon. You can use mono. You can use whatever you want. You're not going to see it. Just make sure this stuff is strong. There's a perfection knot here at the end. Or I'm sorry, improved cinch knot. Just make sure this knot is tight. Test it with pliers. You can either do it by the hook. You can grab the end of the line. You want to make sure this is tight, because the last thing you want to happen is to lose a fish because of your knots. It's the worst feeling ever. Everybody knows that. So basically, to get started, you want to take your thread, which I use a heavier thread. This is a 3/0, I believe. Yep, says it right there. You want something a little heavier. The materials are thicker. You're going to be applying a lot of pressure, and you just don't want to break off at any point in time. If you do break off, you can just continue. Don't get frustrated. Just take a breath, redo your thread, and just keep going. So basically, I'm sure everybody knows, or hope everyone knows, how to get your thread started. If not, there's another video on that. Very simple. Once you get it, It's like riding a bike. So I get this kind of thread base going here. Then you take your fluorocarbon. What you want to do is go right through the eye here, and then this way you can adjust how far back you want your trailing hook. I like to keep mine pointed up. Don't know why, just do it. And I usually keep it about an inch and a half off the back. When you're done with these, a lot of the rabbit strip and your marabou will actually, you want it to cover this hook so this isn't just flopping around in the background. So when you get your line through, you just secure it with your thread, and you want to apply pressure, not too much. Again, just be careful, try not to break off. It's just annoying, to be honest with you. Once you get that secured, you can cut off your excess. Hopefully you can see this. So there you have, there's your main hook, here's your trailer, and we're good to go. As a rule of thumb, I go up and back usually 3 times. That's because this is where you want your thread to be when you start with your rabbit strip. Some people glue these on. I do not. I'll show you how to attach one of these. So here's the rabbit. You want to see which way it folds down, because it's going to be going towards the back. So I'm going to flip this around. Cut this here. So when you set this down, you want the gray strip on the shank here, and you want it to go right to about where your hook is. So right about there. Let's see if I can adjust this here. And then give it a little pinch. Actually, oops. You want to cut off the excess here so it doesn't get in the way. Get that out of there. And then you secure it to the shank. Just make sure that gray part lays right on top of that hook. Now this is usually when I put my eyes in. There's your dumbbell. I usually wait, so I have somewhat of a base on here, so it can grab a little bit. If you just try to put it on the hook, it spins around and swivels metal on metal. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So bear with me, I'm very new at this. Basically, you get one way, and then it's kind of like an X. Let's go 1, 2, 1, 2. Then I'll do a couple just to make sure that the hole here is clear. You want to make sure this is clear for your line, because that can be frustrating. Now it's a little off. In the early stages, you can kind of adjust these, so you don't want to wrap it too tight. Once you've got it where it looks pretty perpendicular, which is actually right there, you want to do a few more wraps. Now I go behind a little bit. Again, X's, think X's, X's, and you are good to go. Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, so now you've got the rabbit going back here. Then I like to put a little flash in there. I have a problem with flash. I probably overdo it. I know people say just to put a few strands in. I usually go overboard. Again, just because I like flashy things. I guess that's just the whole reason I got into the fly tying. So you secure your flash to the hook, and you want it running just to the back. You want everything relatively ending in the same spot back here. Let me get this more centered. So you've got that on secured. Wrap that. Let's see, then you start with your marabou. Now I usually build from dark to lighter with the colors and the marabou, and I'm going with the purple So I'll start with black because I want the purple's going as it builds. I go from dark to light, so it's going to go from black down low with the flash up to the purple, and then to the really shiny stuff at the end. So basically, you want to use the good parts of the marabou. Um, Farthest away from the stems, the better. This stuff in here, it's kind of a waste. You never really use it for anything. And you basically lay that down. You want to make sure, again, it's just covering everything in the back, same length. Secure it with a few loose wraps. Once you get it in place, you can tighten it. And a rule of thumb for tying any flies, streamers, anything, less is more. If it's secure in 3 or 4 wraps, leave it, cut it off. You don't have to overdo it. You don't want a ton of buildup or bulk on these. You're using so much material, that's going to happen. That's going to happen as you go. So let's see, secure that down. And what you're looking for is you just want it to be even. You want it to be even and full. I like a lot of marabou. I think it gives it more movement in the water. Attracts the fish more, I think. Again, this is not an exact science, this fishing, so I'm going to put just a little bit more on. And let's see. Not too much, just a little more. It's a little light through here, so I'll just fill that in. So again, you just pinch. You want to make sure there's, nothing, no crap in there. There, now that looks nice and even. So again, get it in place, a couple loose wraps. Loose, and then once you get it where it's not really moving, then you can secure it with a few more. Then you snip off the excess, like that. Now, in between colors, I also do more flash. Again, this is just the way I do it. There's so many different variations on how to do these. It's really insane. Sorry, I got the Rangers game on in the background. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but they almost scored there. Pretty exciting. I'm not a huge Rangers fan. I am a Kings fan. Rangers second, Buffalo third, if anyone's asking. Okay, so next layer, you want to keep it on top. Go right up to the eyes, and then up, and then back once. And again, you want to keep this, you want to make sure this is kind of relatively even up and back. This takes practice, takes some time. I'm actually getting kind of lucky with this one today, so I'll take it, trust me. So now I'm going to switch to the purple. There's the purple. You can see this stuff is pretty bright, and this stuff is fun to work with. I mean, do not do this in front of a fan or an open window. It will blow everywhere. Let's see. Okay, so again, make sure just kind of give it a pinch here and then feather it out so anything loose will pop out. Just makes life easier, cleaner. Same thing. Loose, couple secure, you're good. That's it, done. Where are my scissors here? Okay, snip that off. And as you can see, as you go with these, your material is going to be filling up, I believe, the shank here of the hook, the straight part of your hook. You don't want too much of that covered up because you need to leave room for the flash. So I'm going to do just a little bit more purple, and then we can do the flash there, and we should be good to go. So again, don't overdo it. Loose wraps. I'm going to cut off this excess here. And then I'm going to be wrapping up towards the eyes. Now you can see it's a little messy. That's fine. the flash will cover this, which is why I love tying these big, I don't think they're buggers, but they're big giant streamers, because you can make mistakes, you can cover things up. They're very forgiving. It's a great first tie. I am going to go with this stuff here. So when you take this out, this is kind of what it looks like, obviously. Captain Obvious. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch. Okay, yeah. We're going to go with this. This is on, as you can see, it's on both sides of the big strand. This is not. It's only on one. So it's a bit long. It's for different streamers. The more you tie, the more you'll get comfortable with the materials. Then I snip off about, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 inches. Yep, you can insert your jokes there as you see fit. So you secure the one end, and you want to start wrapping. You want to start wrapping right where your thread wraps end, right where the thread wraps end of the marabou. And as you're wrapping, since it's on both sides, actually it's on every side of the middle strand, you want to start to pull it back as you wrap forward. So, like, see how it's bunching up around the dumbbell, around the eyes. You don't want that. You want to just be patient, keep pulling back. You can pull this back and hold it, and then keep wrapping. And take your time, be patient. It's not a race. Well, it can be. You want to make sure that all of your thread wraps and all of the marabou, all of the material underneath where this is going, is covered as you go. So I don't know if you can see that. See, it looks kind of messy. Trust me, in the end, it all works out. Then you want to get right up to behind the dumbbells. I usually do 1 or 2 extra turns right in here. Then you hold it out. Let's see. Hold it out like that. Take your thread. You want to wrap, you want to tighten this down. I go 2 behind it. Then you pull it back. Do 1, 2 in front of it. Snip this off close. Now you can see there's some extra fuzz all around the front here. This is where you can snip this off. What I like to do is try to pull it back, pull it all behind the eyes, and then just do a few quick wraps, and that'll clean it right up like that. So there we go. Now, if there is a bunch of loose ends or whatnot, you can clean it up now. Like if you don't want this one, you can cut it off. I kind of like to leave that. I think it adds more action in the water, which is good. Can be good. So again, pull all the material back. Do about maybe 3, 4 turns. Then you grab your whip tool. I'm sure everybody knows how to use one of these. They're a pain in the ass to learn, but once you learn it, it's simple. You basically hook your line, go around there, and then I do 1, 2, 3. Tighten, and I do this twice. It's just my thing. It's just what I do. Go 1, 2, 3. Pull it tight, not too tight. You're going to break that thread. Snip that off, and there you go. So as you can see, it starts off dark underneath. There's the flash in the back, flash on top. This stuff here, just love it. Let me take this out for you. And there it is. Hope you enjoyed the video. There are many different variations you can do with these, why they're so much fun to tie. I've got a box here I can show you. Maybe I'll put a picture in at the end, just to show you all the different variations. If you have any questions at all, you can leave a comment down below. You can also subscribe to the channel. This is very new. I'm, again, beginner, learning just like everybody else out there. And hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks.